This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. For more information, visit our website, ncarc.net. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay, I'm back. I just had to run outside and do the antenna ritual for my HF antennas. Good evening, Northern Colorado. This is November 0 Echo Mike Papa. My name is Greg. I'm in Fort Collins, and I'll be your net control for this evening's NCARC Club Net. If you didn't hear earlier, the 145.115 Horsetooth VHF repeater is back online. I think James will have more on that later. But if we lose this repeater tonight, that will be our fallback for the net. The purpose of this net is to provide a forum for announcements of amateur radio related events, a meeting time on the air to encourage social interaction between club members without getting within 6 feet of each other, and to provide a point of contact for the club executive board members. This net may be interrupted at any time for emergencies or priority traffic. If you need to use the system for an emergency during the net, say break and give your call sign. We will acknowledge you and suspend the net until you advise that you are clear. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All licensed amateur radio operators with 70 centimeter privileges are encouraged to check into this net. Club membership is encouraged but is not required for participation in the net. This net will begin as a directed net and shift into an open net. There will be an opportunity for stations with equipment to sell to announce their items. Check-ins are requested for purposes of counting participation with no checkout required for this net. Once all stations are checked in, net control will ask the club executive board if they have any announcements, and will then call for any announcements from other operators. Please be courteous once the formal part of the net is over, and allow a break for other stations to be a part of the conversation. When checking in, please give your call sign slowly using the ITU phonetic alphabet. start by taking check-ins from club board members. Club board members who have not checked in, please check in at this time. Okay, no additional club board members. I'll go ahead with any general club member, regardless of call sign. Any general club members who have not already checked in, go ahead.
Good evening, Greg. This is Alpha Delta Zero Kilo Echo 80 KE Wayne, trustee, no traffic.
Okay. Sierra Papa W0ASP. Terry inverted. Terry got you down.
Golf 6 uniform Delta Tango Ed inverted, no traffic.
That got you. Any more members for check-in? Go ahead.
Kilo Delta Zero Quebec Bravo Michael in Windsor.
Mike, I've got you down. Any more members? Go ahead.
November 0 Kilo Bravo X-ray, Tom in Wellington.
Yeah, November 0 Kilo Bravo X-ray, Tom in Wellington. I've got you. There was someone attempting to double with you. Go ahead, other station.
Kilo 8 Golf Echo, Jerry in Fort Collins.
Jerry, good to hear you in here. Any other members? Go ahead.
Kilo Echo 0 Uniform Juliet Whiskey, Terry in Loveland.
Terry got you down. Any more members? Go ahead.
Kilo Echo 0 Yankee Mike Juliet, Ron in Windsor.
KE0 YMJ got you on. Any more members? Go ahead.
November 5 Golf Romeo Yankee Steve Johnstown.
Steve got you down. Any more members for a check-in? Go ahead.
Kilo 0 Alpha Romeo Delta, Ann in Fort Collins.
Ann got you down. Any more members? Go ahead. Non-members, any non-members or additional members, members, non-members, board members, anybody to check in to the NCARC Net. Go ahead.
Kilo 0 Uniform Yankee Echo Charles, Fort Collins.
Charles, I was trying to count and write at the same time, and that did not work. What's the last character on your call sign?
Yeah, copy that. Kilo 0 Uniform Yankee Echo.
Got you. Thanks for checking in. Anyone else check in? Go ahead. Okay, gotcha. First name, please?
Andrew in Central Boulder.
Okay, Andrew, welcome aboard. Any more check-ins for the NCARC Net? Go ahead. Okay, Kilo Echo Zero, Yankee Victor Uniform. You're real staticky. Couldn't catch the name.
Yankee Zero YZU, Paul in Broomfield.
Paul, got you down. Any more check-ins? Go ahead.
Alpha Echo Charlie Foxtrot Ben Fort Collins.
Alpha Echo Zero, Ben. Alpha Echo Zero, what was the last part of that call sign?
Alpha Echo Charlie Foxtrot.
Okay, Ben, welcome to the net. Any more check-ins? Go ahead. Member, non-member, anybody, go ahead. Okay, I'm going to go through the club board members that had announcements. Joe, KD0TYU, go ahead.
Good evening to everyone that's on the net. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who pitched in on this, running this net. You know that I normally do this, but due to a freak illness that came up with me, not the coronavirus, I had to have some surgery done a couple weeks ago, and I'm just getting over that now. So I do appreciate everything that these guys did. Greg and the rest of them, thank you, doing a super fine job, and I thank you much for doing that. Secondly, in our bylaws, the board can hold votes online and various things like that. So we looked at the next club meeting, which is this weekend, and if you didn't get my note or see the website on this thing, we have canceled the club meeting for this particular Saturday. It's obvious why we did it. In fact, I'm not even sure that they're still open. Sources have told me they still are, but again, on a limited type thing. So just to protect all our people, I do appreciate your help with this, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I think it's most things. And the third thing I want to say is just everybody be safe with this. It'll get over. We'll be over it, and everything will be just fine. If you didn't know, they're actually trying vaccines out, I guess, right now, what I saw on the news the other day. So just remember that if you need anything, please email me, and we will definitely get right back to you. And thanks again, Greg, for running the net, and back to you. This is KD0TYU.
Okay, Joe, thanks for that. And by the way, I finished my counting while you were speaking, and we've had 31 total check-ins so far, which is a pretty good turnout for this net. 31 so far. James, KI0KN, you had traffic for the net. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much, Greg. Thanks for taking the net. And I'm monitoring 2 radios because we have 2 folks up on Buckhorn repairing a blown fuse up there. So if I step away for a moment, I just want to make sure they're safe. A couple of quick announcements. Greg has already mentioned the 115 is temporarily back online. We built a kind of a quick and dirty emergency receive voter and put it at Rattlesnake. Greg was able to get it up there and installed, and that fixed our intermod problems by splitting the site. Steve is there and transmits at Horseshoe, so we have the 115 up and running in that state for now until we get up to Horseshoe and replace it completely. So it's actually working very, very well given how quiet Rattlesnake is. Reset here. I expected it to be pretty insensitive down towards the western edges of Fort Collins and Loveland since Horsetooth shadows Rattlesnake, but it's because it's such a quiet receive site, it's doing actually, I think, better than when the receiver was on Horsetooth. So it will remain that way so long as it stays operational. There's no reason to believe it won't until we get up there and do the Horsetooth rebuild. So, thanks to Greg for the work on that as well, and return that repeater to service. Next note, I've been working avidly with Motorola on this squelch crash issue that you'll notice on this repeater, on the 447275 repeater. And I just had a conference call with the engineer that designed the interface board at Motorola yesterday. It has gotten to that level, and we had a very successful call, and come to find out that we have some just on my own radio out. We have a known firmware bug that should be a very easy fix. I just upgrade the firmware, and I have vetted that all out with some of the other Colorado repeater owners just to make sure we try to all kind of stay in touch and be doing the same thing so that it's a little easier to help each other out when it comes time. And we're going to go ahead and upgrade the new 115 repeater that is sitting on my bench to the new firmware. And if that solves the problem, we'll take this 275 up to the new firmware also. We can do that remotely. So that's kind of the update on that. We've been waiting on weather to get up to some of these sites. Rattlesnake just barely became passable. Mud is the main issue, which is probably getting worse as we speak with the rain. But we expect to have that everything together for a Horsetooth and a buckhorn rebuild, as well as a full receiver stack installation at Rattlesnake in the coming weeks here. Those sites are probably one of the safer places for us to be in nowadays with all the isolation. Now, update on the Buckhorn Tower, the Buckhorn East Tower. The Poudre Valley REA is putting the 100-foot self-supporting tower up that we'll be removing to and rebuilding that site to commercial standards. They have run into massive permitting issues, and that tower is delayed now until likely the end of May or early June. It was supposed to be in November of last year. It's still in process and is going to happen. It's just delayed a couple more months, so anybody that was wondering about that. That will put us right in the middle of Skywarn season, so we will carefully coordinate those repeaters on Buckhorn with Skywarn to make sure coverage is not lapsed there. Next on my list, today I restored the Yaesu Wires X node to the Budweiser repeater, the 448025. After its third complete rebuild, and now the HRI 200 interface was sent to Yaesu and repaired. I have reports that it is working just like it is supposed to. It's only been up a couple hours, but if you're a Yaesu Fusion Wires X fan, please give it a try and let me know. It appears that all is functional. So that's kind of where we're at with everything. Let me pause there for a moment, see if anybody's got any questions. Okay, no questions heard, so thanks everybody for the support and being patient while we work through some of these things, and we're just about on repeater repair season again, so we'll have lots of fun stuff to do and new technologies and new things on the air soon, so thanks for all of that, and I will turn this back over to Greg. KI0CAN back in control.
Okay, thank you, James. None of the other board members that have checked in so far had announcements, if I made the proper notations here. Did that change for anyone? Are there any board members that do have an announcement now? Any additional board members to check in at this time?
ETU comment.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, Greg, this is K6ET. I just wanted to make the quick comment. I know Mike, WB0MH, isn't on here, but I know Joe had mentioned earlier that the club meeting was canceled this weekend. That is the same for the Skywarn training that was scheduled for the 30th of this month. That is also canceled, along with any test sessions that have been planned.
Okay, thanks for that, Jim. Any other stations have any questions for the NCARC board? Are there any stations with announcements? Are there any stations with requests for volunteers for upcoming events at this time? Okay, we've now reached the gear swap portion of the net. Are there any stations with equipment to sell or stations looking for a piece of equipment?
Good. LCK. Events. KC0 Killgate.
Two stations in there. LCK, go ahead, LCK.
I heard somebody say something about events, so that might be a holdover from the previous talk.
Yeah, that's Marty QOK. Go ahead with your announcement or for sale item first.
Well, I'll let people know if you don't know. I probably have figured it out. We were supposed to have a half marathon. This is the 22nd. Equinox half marathon canceled. The May 3rd Colorado Marathon half marathon's canceled. Lisa's canceling almost everything in April for around here, which don't need amateur operators to support, but the events that are getting canceled now are going to need volunteers later when a lot of us are camping and have made a bunch of other plans. So keep that in mind, and with an open mind that we're going to be asking for volunteers for events that are going to be at odd times than your guys and gals are normally used to being volunteers. And we do appreciate everybody's help that has helped over the past and in the future, KC0 Killgate.
Okay, Marty, that's a good point. That a lot of the things that are being canceled will be rescheduled, hopefully mid to late summer, and they're going to need volunteers that at times they didn't used to need them. That's a good point. Mike, KU0LCK, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking the net tonight, Greg. I have for sale a Yaesu 817ND radio that does the HF, UHF, and VHF. Inside, it's got the internal upgraded WinCamp brand 3200 milliamp hour battery, and it's been converted over to the Anderson Parapole adapters. Along with that is an HF power amplifier that's 45 watts, model MX-P50A. And finally is the tuner, which is an MFJ 971. This is a $840 value, and I'm letting it go for $625 and a roll of toilet paper. And Darren, if you're still around, I resent it to you. If you could please put it on the website. If there are any questions, comments, observations, let me know.
Is that
K0?
Yeah, I got it. I've just been incredibly busy dealing with closures and the virus this week. I will get that on here tonight.
Handheld, or I'm not familiar with the model, or like a desk unit.
Okay, that was a double. Darren was in there responding to Mike's question. Darren, KC0ZIE, go ahead and repeat. Yeah, I was just confirming that I did get the email, but have been absolutely swamped this week between all the closures and cancellations. But I will get that on tonight. Thank you, Darren. Okay, there was another station that I think had a question for Mike about some details on that radio. Go ahead, other station.
K0CBT. I assume that's not a handheld. Is it a mobile or a desktop radio? Sounds kind of like it's a desktop, unit, base station. But maybe you can give me some clarification if I'm interested.
It's a mobile radio that I've used for, mainly I've used it for field day. It's a QRP or low power type of radio, and that's why I added an amplifier to it, so that if you are feeling old, you can use the 5 watts that it puts out and make your contacts that way. Or if you want to add on the 45 watt amplifier, you can push it out much further. And the tuner just allows the antenna to be coupled up with a decent power output. The reason I'm getting rid of it is I have another exact same setup. I'm switching over to something else, so I want to get rid of one of the two. Both operate, everything operates well, and like I said, I've used it also for digital modes, which is extremely good these days. And if you're interested in getting into like parks on the air or summits on the air or home on the air right about now, it's a great radio for that. It's one of the few that have both the capability of HF, UHF, and VHF.
So it does UHF, VHF, does it do 10 meters or 6 meters?
Don't believe it does 6, but it will do 10. You have to look at the instructions.
Okay, so
I've got a
10
manual
meters,
for that.
UHF,
and,
VHF.
I can't remember. I never did 6 meters. I was never that willing to wait around for it to open up.
I guess we're all doubling on each other.
If you check on the NCARC website, probably tomorrow would be a good time. Under the for sale items, it'll be up there with the nomenclature and my phone number. And probably the best thing to do is, if you can, go to the internet, check out the radio itself and see what it's capable of doing, and then give me a call. It's a pretty good deal right now.
K0CBT. How about I give you my my email address and you send me an email.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's AJP, like Alpha Jack Peter, at device, like you've got a device in your hand, and driver, like you're a driver of a car.com. You want to repeat it back?
At AJP at devicedriver.com.
You got it, man. Probably gonna get it from you, so you probably just made a sale.
Well, take a look at it and make sure it's something you're willing to use, because it's a great radio. Like I said, I got two of them. I was just getting rid of one. But I will send you that email tonight.
Yeah, I will look up the specs, and it looks like you set it up pretty well, and it's kind of exactly what I've been looking for quite a while.
Okay, you guys can continue that online and look that up online to see the specs on it. And anyone else have any gear they're looking for or looking to sell? I am 0EMP.
Oh, this is KE0CBT. Besides my interest in that, I am looking for a, mobile, non-HT radio that does 6 meters, UHF, VHF, other than my interest in the one that was just talked about.
Okay, anybody with a mobile that covers 6 meters and VHF, UHF that they want to sell? Okay, while we're on this subject, a couple items. First of all, I have not read the official announcement yet, and if Jim, KA6ETE, is still in here, he may have some information on this. But apparently, from what I was told without verifying this yet, as of midnight tonight, our governor is closing, quote, non-essential businesses for 30 days. I don't know what the definition of a non-essential business is, or if ham radio outlet is a essential or non-essential business in the view of the government. So, I don't know if Jim has more information on that, but if there's something you've been meaning to get, you may now have to mail order it, or internet order it, or find a used one if it's radio gear. I don't know what HRO is going to be doing if this is in fact correct information. Jim, KE6ETE, do you have any information on that?
I have also been informed of the same thing. Like you, I haven't had time to verify it. I know I've been on a lot of conference calls recently and a lot of phone calls and emails and everything with the Colorado Department of Health and Environment and other places. There is a lot of stuff that will be changing if it hasn't already. I know one thing that I had just seen an hour ago. It doesn't affect us here, but it is something to be looking at this possibility in the near future. San Miguel County just issued a shelter in place for all residents. If you are a visitor to San Miguel County, they are informing you to head home immediately, and that will be in effect until I believe it said April 3rd at the earliest. I mean, so that's something that could possibly be happening around here eventually.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And again, I have not verified this. I'm sure we can all go online tonight and look for an announcement. The other thing is if someone's looking for something and not finding it, some of the other clubs and organizations in the state have pretty extensive for sale used item lists. Off the top of my head, in no particular order, Denver Radio Club on their webpage has either a swap list or trading post or something that they call it, that's items for sale. Colorado Repeater Association usually has a fairly long list of items, and Rocky Mountain Ham, I believe, also has a used equipment list. So if stores are closing and online ordering becomes delayed, those are places to look at, along with Craigslist under the topics of ham radio and amateur radio. Sometimes a piece of equipment will list under one heading and not the other. Those are some places to look for items. N0EMP. More equipment for sale, or anyone looking for equipment, go ahead.
I want to jump in there again because I was looking for a mobile that would do 6 meters UHF, VHF, but if somebody has a mobile that just does UHF, VHF, I would also be interested in that. K0CBT.
Okay, we doubled a little bit there, CBT, but I think you got the gist of your question out. Anyone have a just a straight dual band mobile for sale? Go ahead. Okay, does any station have a special topic they would like to discuss with the net? Go ahead. Okay, this is November 0, Echo Mike Pow for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. Are there any late check-ins, comments, questions, or other discussion before we close the net this evening? Late check-in, Kate. Late check-in starting with a K. You dropped the repeater. Go ahead. Late check-in, you're not holding the repeater. I don't know if you can reorient your position, change power, change radios. You're not holding the repeater. Can anybody copy him on the reverse? Late check-in, go ahead and try it one more time. You're just not doing it. I don't know if it's a microphone problem or signal strength. Can't really tell with no audio. It's just not working for you tonight. Any other late check-ins? Okay, we've had 32 check-ins tonight and 1 attempt, and the net lasted 39 minutes. This concludes the NCARC Club Net. Net Control would like to thank each station for their participation. This net will occur again next Wednesday at the same time on this repeater. The repeater is now open for general use.